Welcome back to Drive with Paul. I'm Paul, and like a lot of you, I still work a 9-to-5 job, which means I don't review cars from racetracks or mountain roads. I review them the way most of us actually use them, like commuting to work, running errands, getting groceries, and just living with them every single day. If you're looking for a real-world perspective before spending your hard-earned money on your next vehicle, you are in the right place. Today, we are checking out the all-new 2027 Kia Telluride Hybrid SX Prestige all-wheel drive. This is the biggest change the Telluride has had since its first launch. It's larger, more efficient, more powerful, quieter, and loaded with technology. But has Kia actually made one of America's favorite SUVs even better? Let's find out.
Let's start with the exterior. Kia did a really good job modernizing the Telluride without losing what made the original so popular. It's about 2.3 inches longer than before, it rides on a longer wheelbase and has a more planted upscale stance. Since the trim I have here is the X-Line, you get unique styling, standard all-wheel drive, roof rails, 7.4 inches of ground clearance, and that's more than enough for rough roads, snowy mornings, or the occasional gravel driveway. And let's be honest, for most of us, the biggest off-road challenge is hopping the curb at soccer practice or surviving the Costco parking lot on a Saturday. One thing I'm still a little on the fence on is the new flush door handles. They definitely give the Telluride a cleaner, more modern look, but living in Ohio, I immediately wonder how they'll hold up after an ice storm. It's not necessarily a deal breaker, it's just something I keep an eye on if you live somewhere with harsh winters. Other than that, I think Kia nailed the design here. I love the LED headlights in the front. The amber DRLs look the business, especially at night, and the LED headlights provide excellent visibility. During my time with the Telluride, I found them to be incredibly bright, which made driving on the dark back roads around here and commuting during the morning a little bit more confidence inspiring. Overall, the styling strikes a really nice balance between rugged and premium. It looks just as at home in the office parking lot as it does on a weekend road trip, and honestly, that's exactly what most owners are looking for. Moving around back, the Telluride continues to be one of the more practical SUVs in the segment. You get about 21.3 cubic feet of cargo space behind the third row, which is plenty for groceries, luggage, or sports gear. If you fold the third row, that expands to 47.7 cubic feet. If you need to haul something bigger, fold both rear rows and you got 88.3 cubic feet to work with. That puts the Telluride right near the top of its class, offering slightly more maximum cargo space than rivals like the Honda Pilot and the Hyundai Palisade, though the Toyota Grand Highlander still has the edge here. One feature I really appreciated is the cargo area light. It's surprisingly bright, so if you're loading groceries after work or unpacking luggage at night, you can actually see what in the world you're doing instead of fumbling around in the dark. Overall, the Telluride offers more than enough cargo space for everyday life, whether that's the weekly Costco run, a family road trip, or a stop at Home Depot. Stepping inside, this is really where the Telluride starts to impress. I've actually had quite a few people ride with me this week, and almost every single one of them had the same reaction. They're like, wait, this is a Kia? And honestly, I get it. The material quality is excellent, everything feels solid, and these seats genuinely remind me of something you'd find in a Genesis. They're supportive, incredibly comfortable, and the driver's seat even gets a massage function, which is a nice little treat after a long day at work. Both front seats and the second row seats are heated and ventilated as well, so no one's arguing on whoever gets the good seat. The dashboard is clean and modern, highlighted by nearly 30 inches of combined digital displays. It looks high-tech without feeling overly complicated, and after just a few minutes, everything feels pretty intuitive. Wireless CarPlay and Android Auto come standard, along with dual wireless cell phone chargers. There are USB ports throughout the entire cabin, so whether it's your family or a car full of coworkers, everyone should be able to keep their devices charged. The ambient lighting also adds a premium feel at night, and if you enjoy listening to music or podcasts on your commute like myself, the Meridian sound system sounds fantastic. I've seen a couple people complain where Kia put the climate controls. Honestly, after using it every day, I really just don't understand the criticism. Just move your head to see it if you need to. It feels intuitive, it's easy to reach, and it makes good use of what otherwise would just be an empty dashboard space. As for passenger space, getting into the second and third rows is nice and easy, making family road trips or taking coworkers to lunch a breeze. The second row is genuinely spacious, and while I wouldn't volunteer to sit in the third row for a cross-country road trip, adults can absolutely fit back there comfortably for shorter drives. Overall, this is just a really comfortable space to spend time, whether you're commuting to work, running errands, or heading out on a family vacation. Under the hood of this Telluride is Kia's new 2.5-liter turbocharged Atkinson-Cycle 4-cylinder paired with a hybrid system, producing a combined 329 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque. It's all mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission, and in this X-Line SX Prestige trim, power is sent to all 4 wheels through Kia's standard all-wheel drive system. If the hybrid isn't for you, Kia also offers a non-hybrid version of the same 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, but personally, if it fits your budget, I'd spend the extra money and get the hybrid. Not only are you getting more horsepower and torque, but the electric motors help fill in those little gaps during acceleration, making the Telluride feel smoother and more responsive around town. Plus, in this all-wheel drive configuration, it's still rated for 31 miles a gallon combined, which is impressive for a 3-row family SUV. This also does come in front-wheel drive, and I believe that gets about 35 miles a gallon combined. The Telluride hybrid can tow up to 4,500 pounds, whereas the non-hybrid can tow 5,000 pounds. My one complaint is that Kia doesn't offer the hybrid on the lowest trim level. If you want this powertrain, you have to step up to a more expensive trim, which means you may be paying for features that you may not necessarily want just to get the hybrid. Personally, I'd like to see Kia offer a more affordable entry-level hybrid because I think that's where this powertrain could make the biggest impact for buyers.
All right, let's go ahead and start this thing up and see what it's like to drive on the road. I should probably get that cargo shade, actually. Oopsies. Kia, please don't kill me. Almost forgot your cargo shade. At least it's super easy to put in. One thing that I noticed right off the bat is actually just how fun this thing is to drive. The steering weights up nicely. It's a little bit different than the Hyundai Palisade. This handles really well for a 3-row SUV. And this is also equipped with a hybrid exclusive, I believe they call it E-Ride. It uses some wizardry in the electric motors to make this handle better and ride better. And let me tell you, I think this is deserving of a Genesis badge. I may have said it already, but it rides incredibly smooth, especially over a lot of these Ohio potholes and things. You do get some drive modes here on the steering wheel. You get Eco, Sport, and My Drive. I've just been keeping it in Eco this week. My only complaint with this system, is if you want to put it in My Drive, you have to do it every single time you enter the card. It always defaults to Eco when you first start out. So why give you a My Drive choice when you can't even leave it in it all the time? It's kind of a bummer. You also get some terrain modes to adjust some of the all-wheel drive system, snow, mud, and sand. Man, this handles so good. And just, railroad treks are just effortless. I mean, I've ridden in Lexuses that are worse than this. You got the blind spot turn signal cameras, which is extremely nice. Traffic sign recognition as well. Nice, clear heads-up display. Great visibility. Blind spot mirrors. Blind spot monitoring as well. If the third row's up, you can even use your digital mirror. The pillars aren't that thick. I mean, all week, I haven't had any visibility issues in this vehicle. You get some paddle shifters behind the wheel to manually shift the transmission. Might be helpful for towing. You have a tow mode button on the left as well. One of my favorite things about this vehicle this week is just coming in after a 8-9 hour workday and hitting this button right here and turning on the Ergo Motion seat. So nice. You can choose between pelvic, lumbar, and whole body, and it just does a great job relaxing in. You even got the ventilated seats. It's nice to be in a smooth, quiet, refined cabin here. This is such a huge leap from the previous generation. Fuel economy has been extremely good this week. I've actually beat the EPA estimate of 31 combined miles a gallon for the all-wheel drive model here. It shows 31.4, but before I parked this for a couple hours and did all my B-roll and stuff, it was at 32.3 miles a gallon. And look at this fuel gauge right here. I'm just below a half a tank, and I got 192 miles remaining. It was a lot more than that before I sat in the parking lot for a couple hours, but I've driven 342 miles. You'll never have to fill this thing up. It's awesome. Perfect car for road trips as well, and just made my life easier this week since I never had to worry about, going to a gas station or anything. All right, let's do a little bit of a highway acceleration merge here. I will say it's probably a little heat soaked because it's been sitting in the parking lot for the past couple hours while I'm filming B-roll. So, all right, let's go ahead and floor it. I mean, that's really quick for a 3-row SUV. That's not bad at all. Good throttle response too. With this being a conventional 6-speed automatic, I mean, just feels like a normal vehicle.
Then here on the highway, nice and quiet. There is some wind noise on the sides here. Here on the highway, you can enjoy Highway Driving Assist 2. It's a really good adaptive cruise control system with lane tracing as well. It keeps you centered in your lane nicely, and then on mapped highways, it will assist with lane changes as well. You can easily adjust your following distance between cars with the push of a button and your increments of speed. Really like this system. I think it's one of the better ones in the business. It does have a driver attention monitor here as well to make sure you are paying attention. Go ahead and throw it into this corner and do a highway acceleration. Floor it. I just love the blind spot turn signal cameras. Once I get in the vehicle without them, it's just like, man, why don't all vehicles have this? This powertrain is just so smooth. When you accelerate, you barely feel the engine kick in. You hear the engine a little bit, but it's just in the background. It doesn't feel like a heavy SUV. The braking power feels great. It doesn't just, waddle all over the place, especially when coming to a stop. All right, let's do a quick 0 to 60. Come to a complete stop and floor it. Before I wrap things up, I wanted to mention a couple of features that really stood out during my week with the Telluride. My favorite feature is definitely the remote start parking assist. I actually used the key fob to move the Telluride forward in my driveway, so I had enough room to mow the lawn. It's a perfect example of a feature that might sound like a gimmick on paper, but in everyday life, it can be genuinely useful. I also really like stay mode. If you're waiting to pick someone up or sitting in your vehicle during a lunch break, it lets you keep the climate control and infotainment running without idling the engine. It's a simple feature, but one that makes a lot of sense for a hybrid. Despite being a 3-row SUV, the Telluride was incredibly easy to live with. It fit comfortably in my standard garage, and between the cameras, parking sensors, and excellent visibility, it never felt like a big vehicle to maneuver. As for things I didn't like, honestly, there wasn't much. The only thing I noticed was that in EV mode, the transmission could occasionally feel a little jerky during some downshifts. One other thing that some buyers might have questions about is long-term reliability. This is an all-new hybrid powertrain with a turbocharged engine, dual electric motors, and a 6-speed automatic transmission, so there simply isn't years of ownership data available yet. That being said, Kia does back the Telluride with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, which does provide some peace of mind. Personally, I wouldn't let that stop me from considering the vehicle, especially with how refined and capable the powertrain felt during my time with it. But if you're someone who keeps vehicles for like 10 to 15 years, it's certainly worth keeping in mind as more of these get on the road. Other than that, I've really had to grasp at straws to find things I really didn't like about this vehicle. Overall, I think Kia did an incredible job with the new Telluride hybrid. It combines the space and practicality families need with the efficiency, comfort, and technology that makes everyday driving easier, and I do think it's extremely competitive with what's on the market today. Now join me at the gas station here and see how much the Telluride costs to fill up. All right, let's go ahead and fill this thing up. I love these door handles, so nice. $3.59, not bad. See how much this thing costs to fill up. All right, $45.55, 12.65 gallons. Not too bad. If this video helped you decide whether or not a Telluride belongs in your garage, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing as well. I know there's a lot of automotive channels out there, so I appreciate you spending some time with me today. If you have any questions about the Telluride, please let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. And let me know what you guys would like to see in a future video, and we'll go ahead and see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.